Hello. Um, and today we have a new video. This is not going to be the typical video that I usually do. In this video, I'm only going to review, I think, one fragrance because I went to the chemist yesterday just to check what new fragrances they had there at the chemist. And I found this Coach Green, which is the new Coach. And I think I did see Gent Sense and maybe another YouTuber talking about it. So I did smell it while I was at the chemist on a test strip, and I really like the smell on a test strip. And yeah, while I was there, the lady also gave me a sample of Hugo Jeans, which is I think the new Hugo fragrance that came out last year, 2022. So I don't know how new it is. I don't know if it's their newest one, but out of that collection, I think it's the newest one. So I'm sure there's like some Boss bottled fragrance that's came out since then, but the Hugo Jeans is from that collection. I think the newest one. So, Coach Green. Even though I can smell it on the test strip, I still want to spray it. Even though I can smell it on the test strip, I still want to spray it on skin, just so I can compare the difference. Because I noticed something when I usually test them on paper. It's always completely different than on skin. So this is the bottle. It's green. Green's actually my favorite color, so I actually like the color of this bottle. I gotta say, Coach bottles are probably one of the worst bottles in my opinion. Besides maybe like CK Eternity. I hate the design of the CK Eternity bottles, but I also hate the design of these Coach bottles as well. I don't know what's going on with this top bit, but it's absolutely it's horrible. I don't like it. But there is one benefit to this. I think you can. There you go. You can twist this little atomizer thing, and it locks it. So this little cap thing on top can be twisted, and I mean that's probably the only cool thing about this bottle. Besides this tag that comes with it. Maybe some people hate the tag. I know there's a lot of people that rip the tags off of the RMAF bottles. But anyway, I like how this is see-through. I think all fragrance bottles should be see-through, so you can see the liquid inside of them. There's no point having a bottle that you can't see through. However, Coach Platinum is not a see-through bottle. I do have Coach Platinum. I also used to have the original Coach for Men. I like them both. I think they're really solid fragrances. One thing Coach do really well is like they make very mass appealing scents that pretty much everyone's gonna like. They're nothing special. They can be pretty boring. Apart from Platinum, I find Coach Platinum to be pretty interesting. I've tried Coach Blue, but that was like a little bit too boring. I liked it. It's really good. And something interesting is I could smell that Coach Blue DNA in this. Like on paper, this definitely has that absinthe kind of smell in it. Very alcoholic. You get that alcohol smell, which comes across as like really fresh. Oh, there's a little baby bird. Hey, birdie. It's just a bird outside. So let's give this a spray on skin. I want to say the original Coach for Men, one of my biggest compliment getters, and that was like probably one of the biggest surprises to me as well, of how many women like Coach for Men. It's just something that I don't think men can really comprehend or understand why girls like it so much. It's I mean, I think I've smelled better fragrances, but I mean, you ask any girl if they like Coach for Men, and the chances are they'll probably say yes, they do like it. So this is Coach Green. Um, and I was expecting this to be a very green fragrance because of the bottle and the name. I don't like green fragrances, so I will say I don't like the green fragrances already. But this isn't really like the typical green fragrance. It's not like, it doesn't smell like trees or like wood or like a bunch of herbs. It's not like that kind of green fragrance that most people would usually think of. Like, this is green in more of a fruity way. So already, let's compare the on paper and skin. On skin, you get like a very, very fruity kiwi fruit. And the kiwi fruit smells like a cross between melon and apple. So it's like a melon apple type of smell. That's what the kiwi fruit does here. But I think kiwi fruit is pretty unique in a fragrance. I find that to be uncommon. I don't see kiwi fruit that often in fragrances. But I wish more people would do it because this smells like apple. It's so good. The fruity note in here is perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to put that out there. I love a good fruity note in a fragrance, especially this one. This is amazing. On paper. On paper, this is a lot different. On paper, it smells a lot more soapy. You get like more of a soapiness. But it's also a lot fresher, a lot more crisp, and this is probably one of the best openings I've ever smelled on paper. So there's no denying, on paper this smells a lot better than on skin, which you can't say about all fragrances. Some fragrances you smell on skin and they're just way better on skin. This is a one that really smells better on paper. So you can tell when they've created this fragrance, they created that in mind with whoever's going to be testing it in the store is going to be spraying it on paper and smelling it on a test strip. And then that's what sucks people in and gets them to buy the fragrance. Like me, I'm one of those people that got sucked in to buying it. So what's the main thing I smell on paper? It's actually absinthe. It's like this alcohol, very bright alcohol. Or it's like mint or something. So it's a little bit minty or like absinthe or like fennel or something. It's a very, very fresh alcohol. So it smells super fresh and soapy. And it does still smell fruity. So that apple smell is really amplified actually on paper. Whereas on skin, it's a lot sweeter. So the moment you spray this on skin, a lot of that freshness kind of goes away a little bit. And then it's a much deeper, richer, sweeter scent. So I don't know why, but sometimes that actually does bother me a little bit when you spray it on skin and it loses a little bit of that's something special which you smell on paper. It's like it smells better on paper, and then on skin it's like, oh damn it, like it's almost like it loses a little bit of that, what's the word, you know, when you get a first impression of something, then you have an expectation of it, and then it's a little bit lower than your expectation. It's a little bit of a disappointment. But I'm not saying this is a bad fragrance. I mean, I do like this fragrance. I think on skin, it still smells amazing. So maybe if you do test this fragrance, maybe just spray it on skin first and see if you like it on skin. But everyone also has to try it on paper. So maybe test it on skin first, get a smell of it first, and then spray it on paper afterwards. Because that, if you do it like that, you still get to experience that amazing smell on paper, but you won't be as disappointed as I was from going from paper to skin. If you go from skin to paper, then it's like oh wow, this is even better than I thought. So do that. So what other notes are in there? I just find it to be like a kiwi fruit, apple, melon type of smell. There is definitely something woody in here. It's to me, it's like a juniper or something dry, vetiver, cedar, something like that. But I do get more of a juniper type of smell. So it's very much like an apple juniper fragrance, if that makes sense, right? Despite not having apple and juniper in it, you do get that apple and juniper smell. And I'm sure everyone knows what apple juniper combination smells like because it's in a lot of fragrances, right? But this here, it is a unique fragrance at the same time. I mean, it just has this unique smell to it. I haven't smelt this type of DNA before. And I know on Fragrantica, and everyone's going to be saying it smells like Dior Sauvage. People compared it to Parfums de Marly Greenly. Luna Rosa Carbon, even. Some people were comparing it to that. They're not completely wrong. I can understand why they compare it to Greenly because of that apple smell and that woody smell in there. The woodiness and the apple wood. That's Greenly. I don't think it smells like Greenly. I have a bottle of Greenly and I don't think it smells the same. I also used to own Luna Rosa Carbon and Sauvage. Sold them both. Those people aren't completely wrong either, because this does still have that Coach DNA in it. And if you know Coach Platinum does smell like Sauvage or Luna Rosa Carbon. It has that smell in it. So they're also not wrong to say that, because that's just part of the Coach DNA. However, it's only like 10% Sauvage. Maybe 10% Sauvage, 10% Greenly, 80% completely unique or original kind of fragrance. Fruity, woody, with something a little bit green in there. So I think it's mint or something like that. Mint or absinthe. I think absinthe is an alcohol made from fennel. So it's got a little bit of that minty fennel smell, but not in the horrible sweet way. Because, right, if you just add like licorice or fennel into a fragrance, that anise smell is way too strong. Because I'm pretty sure I remember reading this somewhere, but it was like fennel or something is like 10 times sweeter than sugar. I don't know if that's a real fact, but I think I read that somewhere. Like fennel is like 10 times sweeter than sugar or something. So fennel is way too strong. Too sweet, sorry. But when you make an absinthe out of it, it loses a lot of that sweetness in the alcohol, like absinthe, and it becomes like this really fresh smell. So absinthe is actually really good alcohol to add sweetness and freshness into a fragrance. And this is just speculation, but Coach Blue has absinthe in it. I believe what they've done is they've combined mostly the DNA from Coach Blue, and they've just replaced a few notes from Coach Blue with like kiwi fruit and mint or juniper or something like that, some type of wood or herb, and a different fruit. So that's the only thing different than Coach Blue. It's still got that Coach Blue DNA, but they've just changed a few notes. So absinthe is still there, but now you get that fruity apple, melon, kiwi smell. And obviously I bought a bottle, so I was actually really impressed with this. Only thing I will say, take a look at this price. That's overpriced. Don't go buy a bottle for this price, by the way. Just wait until the prices drop below $100, because there's no point buying this fragrance for over $100. I do like it, but I don't think it's worth over $100, especially the performance is so weak. This is not like a high-end designer fragrance either. Coach is a lower-end designer brand. So I think it should be at least around the price of Versace fragrances. Like, you can get Versace fragrances for like $80, $90, sometimes cheaper depending on which ones. It should be more around that price range, $80 to $90. Even $100, I wouldn't be mad if it was like $99 or $100 exactly. That's okay. Anything over $100 is too much. So, performance, very weak. As with pretty much a lot of Coach fragrances, except for Coach Platinum. Coach Platinum does perform very well. Is there anything else that I'm missing? Just checking if I wrote anything on the computer. Okay, so I'm just gonna look on Fragrantica and see. Let's see what notes are actually in it. I did take a quick look yesterday, but I've already forgot pretty much what was in it. Okay, so the notes are kiwi fruit, rosemary, cedar, and moss. Okay, so I think I've said this in another video before, actually. Rosemary can smell like juniper a lot. So I think it was the video when I was talking about Acqua di Gio, the Acqua di Gio Profondo or something like that. It has rosemary in it, and I always thought it was juniper because it smells a lot like juniper in the Acqua di Gio fragrances. So yeah, rosemary smells like juniper. That's probably the juniper smell I get. And I gotta say, it's really nice. Sometimes rosemary can be a little bit too herbal. I think an example is Mr. Burberry Indigo. The rosemary in that, it's too herbal. It doesn't smell like juniper in that fragrance. Okay, so Mr. Burberry Indigo. The rosemary is not really that great in that fragrance. But in this, it's really good. It complements that apple smell so well. Or kiwi smell, I should say. So I really like whoever made this fragrance really knew what they were doing. Instead of using apple juniper, they picked the next closest things. They picked kiwi fruit and rosemary, and it does the exact same smell. So bergamot, geranium, cedar, oak moss. Okay. I don't think it's really that mossy, but if it is mossy, I would compare it more to like Goldfield and Banks Pacific Rock Moss. The moss in there is more sweeter, more aquatic smelling, so it's more of a sweet, deep, rich moss, and not so much a medicinal Fujian moss. Because oak moss can smell a little bit too Fujian. In a lot of those barbershop type scents, it can get very medicinal, very old manish. I don't like that old man oak moss smell like you'd get in Eau Sauvage, Beach Hut by Amouage. What's another one? I'm trying to think, like maybe Roja Vedova. That's okay. I think Roja Vedova is not too bad. Amouage Portrayal Man. They're a little bit too old man smelling oak moss for my liking. So oak moss, you've got to be careful with that particular note. It can be bad, but it can be really nice as well. Like the oak moss in Pacific Rock Moss is probably the best oak moss I've ever smelled in Pacific Rock Moss. It just has this beautiful, deep, rich sweetness. But anyway, I think we can finish the video here. But I do want to just say, don't sleep on this fragrance. Go out your way to try it. I don't think I don't think this is gonna catch on actually, as well as some other fragrances. I think this is gonna be one of those fragrances that probably ends up being slept on by a lot of people. It's probably gonna be not talked about that much, even though Gent Sense has talked about it in a video. I don't. I just don't see it catching on. Like a lot of Coach fragrances, no one's really caught onto them, except for maybe Coach Platinum. And the only reason people really caught onto Coach Platinum was just because it was like Sauvage, as it was a Sauvage clone. That's pretty much why a lot of people like or had hyped up Coach Platinum. So I think I'm gonna go make a coffee because I'm getting a little bit dry mouth and thirsty. So I'm gonna end this video here, and this Hugo jeans, I will just review this in another video because I want this video just to be about Coach Platinum. I just wanted to show you the lady had gave me this while I was there, so that was nice. So she gave me this little bag thing to put the fragrance in as well, so that was cool. So shout out to the lady at the Pharmacist. I don't know her name, but I think she knows I go there a lot, and she's like try to do something nice to me by giving me some free stuff. So thank you to that lady. And yeah, peace out guys. Like and subscribe below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good day.